We're going to be making this tulip card design today. I just need to check I've got all the tech stuff set up correctly. Give me a sec. So I've got the screen in front of me, so if you want to ask any questions during the live, feel free to put them in the live chat. Yes, I'll be able to answer them during the video. If you're watching the replay, you can add your questions as a comment or any messages, and I'll get a notification and I'll see them, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, so there's a bit of a time lag on the screen in front of me, but I can see it now. So this tulip design is made using the new tulip stamps. So you can see we've got the tulip flower here, and then the two stems. I just want to make sure that the sound is connected okay, and that you can hear me. So if you're watching along live, if you can let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Actually, I'm just going to test it on here. Yes, okay, that's all working. Inception there, and that that video goes on to on. So this design is available as a beginner's kit, advanced kit, or expert kit. And the expert kit comes with the stamps and the card stock, so you can stamp your own images. That gives you a lot more freedom. You can make a lot more things with it, or you can follow this design. The advanced kit would look something a little like this. So I've got these ones here prepared. So the advanced kit has all the pieces, all the images stamped, and then all the actual panels are cut out, ready to go. But you've got some cutting out to do. The beginners and advanced kit are available as box kits to make 4 cards. I haven't got one of those examples to show you at the minute. But basically, it comes in a set in a handy box with 4 lots of everything. So it does mean for this design that you've got a bit more freedom, because you could mix and match the colours, choose some different designs, maybe have a red and yellow card or just pinks, or make it all yellow. It's up to you, so you've got a little bit more freedom. But today I'm going to be making it in this colourway. So I've got all the colours I need here. And then the beginner's kit will have all the pieces cut out and prepped for you, ready to assemble. So basically partway through this video we'll reach the beginners level, and you can join in from there. So if you've got the beginners kit, then you're welcome. If you're watching the replay, you can fast forward, or if you can just sit back, drink a cup of tea, and just wait for us to catch up with you. So we've got the card blank and the envelope there. And here, so other things we need to review, if you want to grab, is some scissors, little small sharp pair of scissors. The glue mouse. So this basically dispenses double-sided tape. It's just a quick and easy way of gluing. Your kits will have these foam pads in, apart from the expert kit. These are like 3D foam pads, sticky on both sides. We'll be using those. And then I'll also be using this glue, which is Glossy Accents. It's not actually a glue. It's actually to add sort of droplets of what would look like water, and it's dry, solid and clear. So it could be used to paint on top of the petals to give like a glossy finish. It's a lovely effect, but it also works really well as a glue. And what's really great about it is that it takes, I'll say, 20 to 30 seconds to dry. So you've got that time to move it around, and you can adjust things, and it dries clear, so any mishaps disappear. So let's start with some cutting out. So we're going to start with the tulips. So we're going to cut around the outside of the black line. I'm just going to swoop around that side and then swoop down the other side. I always like to start the cutting out with some nice easy large areas rather than the going into the nitty-gritty. But for cutting out the tops of these tulips, we're going to go in, and I'm going to keep the scissors still, and I'm going to rotate the card, and again just keep rotating. Just going to cut off that excess card because it will drag and pulls against the scissors, which is nice. And then cut that off. So if you've got any like little bits of colour showing through on the ends, you can either just snip those extra bits off, or you can use a black pen and just fill them in. So this style is called fussy cutting, which I find as sort of relaxing and therapeutic. I think that like cross stitch or knitting or something, a repetitive process that doesn't need too much brain power. You can just get into the flow state doing it. But I understand it's not everyone's cup of tea, which is fair enough. But I do design all these stamp images with fussy cutting in mind, so you'll find that most of them have thick black borders, so they're relatively straightforward to cut out. Some of them push the limits. But alternatively, you can stamp them onto directly onto the card blank and colour them in. There's a few other techniques we can do to avoid the cutting, or of course there's the beginner's kit option as well. Okay, do the pink one. So again, just swooping around on the outside of the black line, and keeping the scissors still and curving the card. So this workshop, I'm not going to try and rush us or myself. I'm not going to be jumping ahead with here's one I made earlier or anything like that. So it doesn't take long, this card, but I'm going to cut out. The idea is that if you've got the advanced kit, then you don't have to worry about pausing the video or rewinding a step. You can just put the video on and just relax. I think generally when I'm chatting away, then my perfectionist comes out. I think generally people craft quicker than I manage to on these videos. There's a whole back catalogue of different designs, also Christmas designs, if you want to experiment, and you're welcome. You can either buy the stamps to recreate the designs, or if you've got your own supplies, you're welcome just to take the sort of the design style, like the layout of the card, and substitute in your own supplies. I'd love to see what you create, what sparks off different inspiration, new ideas, and I'd love to see your creations. If you're happy to send them to me, take a picture. You can either send them to me on email, which is della@dellabydesign.co.uk, or you can send them to me on social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. You can tag me in them or send me on the message. Both places I am at @dellabydesign. That's just one word. And we've got the Just For You greeting. So the stamp set contains 2 lots of greetings. So we've got the happy birthday and the Just For You. You can choose which one you want to use. Again, just going around the outside, and if you've got any bits of red showing through on the outside, then you can go back round with a black pen or just snip them off, which is what I'm going to do there. Just to cover those bits up. And then the leaves, the stems. Again, just cutting on the outside of the black line. I'm just going to cut this off there. I feel like the excess card is kind of like it drags against the scissors. It's always worthwhile snipping away that any excess card, just makes life a little bit easier. And then for this one, we're going to cut into the V shape. If you don't, this one you do. This one's a bit easier. If you didn't like this fussy cutting, you could remove the leaf from the stem and then just glue both of them on as separate pieces. It saves you doing this tight V. Come back. So when you're cutting things out from the sort of tight V, I'm going from left to right, both sides, and I'm resisting the urge just to pull that out because it will leave a little fluffy end. But there we go. So do the same with this one. And I'm going to keep, these are going to be covered up anyway, so I'm going to keep those bits on at the end. And then 2 more. I feel like when I explained what to bring with you, I didn't get around to saying about the wooden spoon, which means we're just sitting around a wooden spoon without no one talking about it. But I have requested that we'll need a wooden spoon for this workshop, and I will explain how when we get to it. And one last one to cut out. So with this sort of fussy cutting, I like to store them up. So when I'm working on new designs or making things, I generally, if I can, I'll make a little pile of stuff that I want to cut out, and then I'll curl up on the sofa and watch some TV. Not really looking up too much, but something that I don't mind just listening to, and just end up with a pile of stuff cut out without feeling like I've done much at all. Also stops me from accidentally picking up my phone and scrolling for the whole time I was watching. Move that to that side. Just gonna push these off there. All go in the recycling. So now let's have a look. Right, let's bring the card blank in and open it up. Actually, let's prep our tulips first. So for each of the tulip heads, we're going to use the wooden spoon. And what we're going to do is we're going to curve it from left and right. So we're going to place the tulip with the petal going along the length of the spoon. And then we're just going to gently start pushing. I'm not going to try and push it all the way around the spoon in one go. I'm just going to roll it and gently increase the pressure. And it will just gradually start curving around the spoon, and you won't get those like crease lines of it going too fast. There we go, and you get that nice rolled look. And we'll do the same. Actually, we'll just do the pink ones first. The pink ones are on slightly thicker card, so they take a little bit more pressure. So I'm going to do those two together, and then I can adjust to the other one. Okay. I was pretty pleased with myself today, and I realised how close a match my nail varnish was to the pink. That I'd kind of gone through my options and ruled out all the sort of purpley lilac-y ones, knowing that wouldn't really go with what I'm doing today. But yes, that pink is just a little too spot on, isn't it? Right, they're ready. Tell you what, let's prep them. So let's put the foam pads on the back. So while you've got that curve, I'd probably I will put a time step in it, but welcome to the beginners kits you've just joined us. We've just rolled the tulips on the wooden spoon. Now next, to keep that, so if you just put glue on that to stick it down, you'd lose that curve and it'll just go flat. So what we're going to do is add a couple of these foam pads, little sticky foam pads, onto the back of each one, and we're going to add them on the central line. So that means it will hold there, but the sides will have room to still curve around to the card. And I'm just going to do the same for the others. And so these foam pads, they're quite small, so these are fine for this, but you might have ones which are slightly larger that you might need to cut down. But if you do, you can just, if you keep them on the sheet, I say even these ones, I get to do some fiddly bits. I want to cut these ones down. If you keep them on the sheet with backing on both sides and then use some scissors to cut through them. I use a different pair of scissors just because I don't like these ones to get any stickiness on them. But then you can cut through both layers of the backing, and that doesn't stop all of it, but it does stop a lot of the stickiness coming through onto the scissors. And then let's put some foam pads on the back of the Just For You. I think 3 fit quite nicely on there. So you don't have to cover the whole back, you just need to give it enough so it's got support, so it's not going to dip to one side. And let's get glue in. So I'm going to, or what you can do is just copy the colour combination I've got here. Like I said, if you've got the box kit, you'll have extra, like you'll have 4 pinks, 4 light pinks, 4 yellows, so you can do a little bit more different designs on that. But for this one, we can still change this up. So we could just change the order of the colours, obviously, and just mix and match the flowers. You could have the flowers matching the colour on the background and be quite ordered. Or we can switch it around. We could do it this way. Let's have a look at what that looks. So have a little experiment. See how it feels. You could have them going down here at different heights. Let's change that and that. Have a little play around with that. Needs a little bit of adjusting, but we could mix around the colours. That'll try and avoid the red being on the red. You don't want that contrast. Or you could go for something a little bit more jazzy we could do that kind of thing and make a nice frame, and then we could bunch the flowers into the middle and have them as like a bunch of flowers. And then if you've got the box set, you could put 5 in. I'll feel like 4 in a bunch looks a bit too organized, but a nice odd number would be good for that. So a little bit jiggery piggery to get jiggery pokery to get that sitting right. But that's one idea. Do that on there. It's quite nice. Oh, what else could we do? We could push these closer together to make a different pattern, and then we could even put these flowers going outwards to get quite geometric with it. Could go in the centre, but maybe about the greeting. It's quite funky. That's quite fun. So you can play around a bit and see what other options you could do. It can be quite fun. But for today's demonstration, I'm going to show you how to make this design. So these panels have been cut so that they will create a even white border around the edge, which matches the gap between the panels. I'm sure there's some maths involved in that to get that just right. So once you've laid it out, just reassure yourself that that's how it all fits, so you've got a visual of how what size gap that should be. And then I'm going to take one at a time to take off and glue so that we've got the rest in position as a guide. You don't want to get to the end of the card and find you haven't got room to fit the last one in. Okay, and then take the next one off. A little bit too close to that one, so I haven't pushed it down quite yet, so I'll put this a little bit forgiving if I need to. This table's clunking away, making a lot of noise. Okay, those all into position. Now I'm going to arrange these. Now what I like about this is that they all kind of like flow into each other's sections. It's kind of like a bit sort of haphazard the way they've all fallen. I'm aiming for them to be at 4 different heights and angles. That's nice. And then adding, so these leaves, there's 2 larger, 2 smaller, and then 2 curved to the left and 2 curved to the right. So I'm going to alternate those. Oh, this one's a difficult angle there. Let's go up a little bit higher. I really like that one going over to that one. The end of that one going into the yellow, and then this one. So consider that the flower and the stem flow as one line, and you haven't got like looking like it's got a broken broken neck. Lovely. So now I've got them all laid out. I'm going to take one thing off at a time and add the glue to the back. So this is the wet glue. And so it doesn't need too much. Now for this glue, just need to let it rest for a little bit or cure for a bit before putting it down, because otherwise it's really liquidy and it will just glide across the across the card. So I need to let it set for a little bit. It's a good chance to have a sip of water. And then using that flower as a guide to where that needs to be. And I'm going to pick this one off. There we go. Another sip of water. Right, so that should be ready. There we are. Take this one off. That seemed to. That must have been wedged in the top of that. Just let that dry. So we're making the Tulip Stripes card at the moment, but it's made using these tulip stamps, and I've got a range of cards that you can make using these stamps. I have to say I think my favourite is the one with the vase. That vase is so much fun to stamp and cut out. It's got and then we've got the more detailed tulips. I've also got these block stamps with which can be stamped in with coloured ink, which is quite fun. Looking forward to having a good play with those. That one there, and then we're going to take this one off. The last one. Again, just need to let that dry. If you find these types of glues, I think any of the glues that have got the small nib, they can get blocked. I generally need to unblock it at the start of pretty much every craft session, so it's not something that's really that avoidable. But I always have a spare needle to hand or a pin just to pierce through. And then remember not to try and use that needle. Ooh, I dropped it. But it does dry clear, so it's not so bad. Let's see if I can do some. Let's try and scrape off that glue while it's still wet. Alright. So if you, I mean, you're not going to see it on the video. I don't going to see it much in real life either, but I know it's there. If anything like that happens and it's going to bother you or bug you, then that's basically why they made butterflies. It's what we say in the crafting world. Just stick a butterfly on it, or any other embellishment, an extra stamp, sticker, some extra details, and you can cover up those little mistakes, and it will potentially elevate your card into something even you wouldn't even thought of doing. Can transform it. I'll have a quick look at the stamps. So I think that's lovely. Right, just for you. There we go. Just play with that. So I mean, I don't think I would bother covering it up. But if I was, I think I had a look at the stamps. So we could put a few of the little ones around in the background, or it's a bit fiddly cutting out. I think I would potentially add some more. So imagine these flowers again, but like 2 coming in here, and then the stems of other ones going out over the top. So it's like this is just a snapshot of a long conveyor belt of tulips, and that would be a nice way of covering that section. And you'd have them going over the edge of the cards. So if you are doing that, what I recommend is gluing them over the edge. I haven't got any. I've only got the scraps here to use to show you. I wonder if that's enough. So it's going to use it's going to need a bit of imagination. But imagine that's a tulip, and you were going to glue it on this edge, but it's going to be a bit bigger. What I would do is glue it in place like that with the bits overhanging. If you're happy, put some scrap paper underneath if you're gluing all of it, or you can just glue on the card and then place the image on top. That way you know there's no glue on the overhang. And then when it's had a chance to completely dry, you can hold it flush and then put your scissors up against the edge of the card and then use that to guide your scissors to get a beautiful cut edge. And it's a technique I've used in many designs, and it's really striking. But it's always worth doing it that way around and trimming off the excess, rather than trying to cut the tulip and go, oh, I need it to be like that, and then trying to stick it on to the corner, because inevitably you don't get your right angles. So yeah, that would be a fab way to do that, but I don't think that's going to notice. It's fine. Wonderful. Well, thank you ever so much for crafting with me today. I hope you enjoyed making your tulip stripe card. There are several other designs from this stamp set that you could follow along to, or plenty of others as well on the different stamp sets. So I hope to craft again with you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.